Hey, good morning. All right, so working on, first thing, I'm gonna be working on a brass guard for a sword I'm doing. So I've already got that in the forge. It's almost ready. I got a new mug. And I really dig it. All right, let's get started. Okay, so nice and hot. I've got a couple marks there. That's going to be the center. Actually, I'll show you guys that's where we're at. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining, everybody. All right, so this brass guard that we're doing, it's gonna have a couple arms that come out with some little features on the end of each one. So I've got to leave some extra material there. I'm not gonna really touch the center of that right now. I'm just gonna work on the arms. And I'm not even gonna bend them in position. I'm gonna just leave them straight. Eventually they will kind of be up. But that's going to be after I get the hole drilled for the tang, and I'm going to start setting the tang. I probably won't do that today. Actually, I know I won't. After this, I've got to do a little work on a couple pieces for an axe I'm working on and the actual axe itself, but we'll get to that. Gas it just a hair, get a little more heat in there. So I gotta be really careful with this brass that I don't get too hot and just melt it. I have done that before. Unfortunately, when that happened last time, I was almost done with the guard, and not for this project, it was last year, but I was almost done with the guard, and one side of it started to melt, and there was no saving it. So I'm trying to stay well below 1700 degrees, right in the middle of 1600, 1650, that area, and hopefully we won't have a problem. I am forging out a brass guard for a sword that I'm working on. Hey, thank you. Gold pendant one. Yeah, that Book of Eli sword's been pretty fun. I still got to do the sheath, and I still actually have to put an edge on it. I started to Friday and just did one pass on 120, and it's like, you know, I'm gonna sharpen this Monday or something when I get ready to do the sheath. But unfortunately, I don't have enough Kydex to do it, and my provider here local has been out for a little while, so hopefully they'll have some in this week, and I can get it finished. But yeah, wow, we went from 200 and some people down to 9 real quick. So what happens when you're forging, because there's so much time in between, and I'm just standing here talking, you guys have to stare at my ugly mug, so most people don't stick around for that, and I don't blame them. So this week before Christmas, starting to kind of wind down stuff, not taking like a huge break this week, maybe taking some extra time off next week, but our oldest and his new wife fly in tomorrow afternoon, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Next Monday, I'm going to have him out here with me forging. Not quite sure what we're going to forge, probably just some stuff, some fun stuff, just kind of mess around. Heck, he hasn't been home in a year, so it should be fun. That's okay. Yep, right. I agree, Joe. Hey, how are you doing? All right, let's go move a little bit more brass. Should have enough heat by now. We can do this other end real quick. This one's not quite even. Looking pretty close to even. You heat them up again and start squishing out the ends a little bit. And we're going to turn up the heat in the forge. That tank is almost out of gas, so it's slowly dropping pressure. I mean, I've only got about a gallon and a half, 2 gallons in there. So it keeps slowly dropping pressure, which means the temp slowly drops as well. I am making a brass guard for a sword that I'm working on. After that, we're going to do some work on axe that I'm doing. A very big, ridiculous axe. I'll show you guys what I'm doing. Alright. So I've got to finish this. Got to straighten it out, flash it, clean it up a little bit. I'll have to grind it later. That's going to be for opening that hole up in this stupid thing. This thing is ridiculous, so I've got to do a little bit more work on it. Of course, straighten it out. Try to fan it out a little bit more, get it a little straighter. At some point, I got to start working on opening that up. It's going to be a lot of fun. First axe? No. Not the first axe, but I haven't done a ton of axes. But the customer wanted Stormbreaker. And if you guys have seen that and you have any kind of thought process on how much steel weighs, that thing has to weigh like 500 pounds if you were to make it out of steel. So I told them it's going to be significantly smaller than the one in the movies, but I'm going to go for generally the same shape. There's going to be a lot of grinding on this, but I still have a lot of forging work to do. So yeah, this is going to be a beast. Yeah. So when this is done, it'll be fully functional, of course. I'll do some cool videos and stuff, but we got a ways. Yeah. All right, so what I'm working on right now is just a brass guard for a sword that I'm doing. I'm just getting the general shape down, and I'm not going to get too crazy with it right now. In fact, it's almost done. It's almost to the point where I'm going to stop at right now. Then I'm going to crank up the temp in the forge. I think we'll have to switch tanks because this one's almost empty. But then we'll crank up the temp in the forge and start working on that stuff for the axe. So, also, I want to talk real quick about my Patreon. So, I've kind of hinted at a video series that I'm doing, and I'm going to be dropping the first video in that onto my Patreon this week. Potentially today, this evening, if I can get it done. So, this is going to be a 5-video series, and it's going to be start to finish making of a Damascus sax. So if you're interested in knife making, you want to know how it's done, the entire process that I use, go check out my Patreon, Woodson Knife Co. at patreon.com. Oh, I'm just winging this Stormbreaker because, like I was saying, if I did this axe to scale as the one that's in the movies, it would probably be over 500 pounds. and I did some rough estimates and a little bit of research of other people that have done estimates on that steel, and that's about where it's coming out. And it'd be a huge chunk of steel. The back of that thing, the hammer side of the one in the movies, is as big as Thor's head almost. So you think about how much steel that would really take. The front blade looks like it's about 4 inches thick in the movies. Again, that's a ton of steel. So there's no way I was going to try to do that. We'd never lift it. I wouldn't be able to forge it here. Just too much weight. Maybe I'm over exaggerating on 500 pounds, but it's definitely going to be, it would be to the point where you couldn't wield it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I do try to go to maybe not original specs. I mean, everything is my take on whatever project I'm doing, because I'm not going to completely copy another maker, even if they've been dead for thousands of years. Plus, I can't exactly copy somebody, and because I'm doing it by hand, it's never going to be an exact perfect match. But when it comes to swords and stuff like that, and they're based off of a movie or a book, I put my own spin on them, but they're still generally the same. Like my sword that I'm finishing up from the Book of Eli, that's got Hamon on it. It doesn't have a wrapped handle like in the movies. It's also about 4 inches longer than the one in the movies, but generally it's the same shape. That's fine. Stampasium. All right. I think that's about all we're going to do on the guard. It's a good start. Ooh, almost dropped it. So I'm going to bend these up into a V, but that's going to be after I get set on the tang. So once this cools, I'm going to drill some holes through it, make the slot for the tang, and then it's going to get heated up and fit onto the tang with heat. But not right now. Okay. To throw some other stuff in, we're going to turn up the tap and we lose all the gas that's left in there. Historically, well, my last blade standing sword is based on a Japanese wakizashi. It's not perfectly historically accurate, especially because it was my first Japanese sword, but I think that one turned out pretty good. I have not done a Roman sword yet. It's on my list, I just haven't done one. Swords take a lot of time, a lot of money, so that's why a lot of those I haven't done yet, because just haven't got to them. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, Joe, that handle should be a little bit more comfortable than the one that was in the original, or the one that was on the original. All right, gas is cranked up. Turn down the air a little bit so get a little heat in there faster. So this piece I'm working on is to open up the eye for that axe. It's gonna be an interesting process. You know what? Actually, I'll probably do some of this Monday when my son's here. That way I can have him hold and I can hit it with a hammer. Because doing something like this on your own is pretty damn difficult. So that'll be cool. Like the whole blade bronze. I mean, I guess you could do a whole blade out of aluminum bronze, which is stronger than normal bronze. Could do that. Doesn't hold a shine as long. I've noticed you polish it up and a few weeks later it's kind of tarnished, even if you wax it. Kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't cast one. I don't have the equipment to do casting, plus it's not really my thing, like to that size. I mean, heck, I've never cast anything yet. I do want to get into casting, like pommels, guards, that kind of thing. But as far as casting a whole knife or sword out of bronze, I probably will never do that because it's not usable. It's nothing that I can really put my stamp on. Now, if it's ordered as a wall hanger, that's a little different, but yeah. Yeah, if I do a gladius, now I might do a gladius with some brass Damascus or something like that to kind of give it a little hat tip, a little nod to, because I know what you're talking about. They did cast old swords. I don't know if the gladius were, but I know I've seen old swords that were cast in bronze. So I don't know, it'd be doable. Most of this is going to get done on here, and basically all I'm doing with this piece is I'm going to tune it up a bit. A lot of it's going to get done on the grinder. So we'll get this piece tuned up and done. And then I'll switch over to my other tank of propane. And then we'll get started on that axe. For all of you that haven't met Mishka, this is Mishka. She's my service dog. So she goes everywhere with me. She's spoiled rotten. Good girl. So the rest will be done on grader. Then this is going to get heat treated and tempered. Hopefully, because of the length, it's going to make making this eye hole a little bit easier, but we'll see. All right, put this aside. Sorry, I didn't have that pointed the right direction. So I opened up the doors to the forge. I still have my door in front of there, that little brick door. It doesn't cover the whole thing, but it is going to cause a little back pressure and keep some heat in there. I probably should just put a whole brick on there. I have more. There we go. Lock in that heat. Ooh. Man, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I want to get into casting brass and copper and such. I just haven't. I need to do some research. You know, I should be able to do pretty much anything in there, I think. But like I said, I got to do some research on it. I've never done it, and I know it's a whole new skill. 308, hey, how you doing? All right, so I'm heating up a huge axe head that I'm working on. I've already done a few other small things. Today, because this is close to Christmas and everything, and I'm working on cleaning up some videos that I made, putting them together for a Patreon series that I'm doing. I'm going to be out here a whole lot longer today, a couple hours maybe. Pretty much until we get this axe to the point where I think I'm done, for now at least. It's going to take several more times. But I've got a bunch of videography work to do. So I want to get that Patreon video posted today if I can. And going back to that, again, if any of you are interested in learning knife making, forging, the class that I'm putting on Patreon right now, it's going to be a 5-part series, start to finish, making a Damascus sax. The first video showing how I do my Damascus, again, start to finish, every step of the way. So hopefully I'm going to get that posted tonight. Now that is going to be for my Patreon members. I do have some Patreon videos on handle material and sharpening that are free to view for anybody, so go check those out. Now there's a link on my website, the main page in the top left, to Patreon. You can also put in, I think it's just Woodson Knife Co. at patreon.com. What steel is it? 4140. Hey, that'd be great. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think the first things first, I just need a list of what to get, what to buy to actually do it. And I've watched some videos on people doing it. Unfortunately, a lot of the videos I watched, they're not explaining anything. And there was one video where the guy carved out, it was like this green plastic looking stuff, almost like consistency of soap or something, but he carved it the shape he wanted, then put that in sand or casting or whatever. When he cast into it, it took on that exact shape. That stuff I want to figure out what that's called. Yes, it is that axe, Stormbreaker. Oh, really? You know, we should just set up like a chat, group chat, either on here or on Facebook. That would be extremely helpful to me to be able to bounce ideas off you guys, because that's a area that I've never messed with. Red wax. Okay. See, and I tried doing some Googling, but if you don't know the name of things, it can be really difficult. And when I first started forging, that was the big problem. I didn't know what things were called. I didn't know the terms. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing the Patreon series and the Patreon videos in general, is I want to teach people what I know, what I've learned. Yeah, my Patreon videos, what I'm going for is around 30 minutes an episode. Some of them are going to be longer, some might be a little shorter, but generally that's what they're going to be at. I'm sure someday I'll have one that's over an hour, but for right now I'm trying to keep them pretty short. That's one of the reasons this is going to be a 5-part series on the Damascus sax. Yeah, seriously, if we could set up a group chat between the three of us, either on here or Facebook, Instagram, I don't care, that would be awesome. I would really appreciate that. All right, I'm going to take a look at this thing. All right, our temperature is dropping off. All right, sounds good. Our temperature's dropping off pretty quickly, so that tank is pretty much empty. Oh, wow, that doesn't sound good, man. I'm hoping none of that happens where I'm at. I think Thursday we're supposed to be down to negative 14 degrees. Is that right? Maybe it wasn't negative, but we're supposed to be really, really cold. I think it was just 14 degrees. Yeah, I'm not stoked about that. We already have 2 feet of snow or more. Since we're going to use the power hammer, I'm going to get that guy started up. I'm not in Minnesota. I'm in Washington State. I'm in eastern Washington. It's called Spokane. So most of Washington State's a really high desert. We go over the west side. We get a decent amount of snow in the winter. Or not the west side, the east side of the state, sorry. All right, so we just passed 2,000 degrees in the forge. I'm going to check the axe. So first things first, I'm going to try to feather out that axe head a little bit more, especially one side's a little straighter than the other. I will also try to tilt that back down. You guys will see what I'm talking about. Might as well move us on over to the power hammer now. Okay. Still needs a minute or so to heat up. You know, I've got this, I made this billet of ball bearing Damascus recently. I'm not sure what to do with it. It's going to have a pretty cool pattern. So the streaks are the ball bearings. However, when this is done and etched, the ball bearings are going to be dark and everything else should be light. Nice and bright. Should be. So next, what I'm going to do with this, not today, I'm going to drill some holes here, mill it out, and then get it nice and hot and shove the tang through it and start forming it the way I want it to go over the tang. I forgot how I was holding this. There we go. It's hard to keep it steady on that power hammer. It's just got so much weight to it, and I can't keep it from rocking back and forth. So once I rock or I get it off center, it starts bouncing as the power hammer hits it. Yep, that's Mishka. She is my service dog, actually. Aren't you, Mish? She is a brindle German Shepherd. All right. You know what? I think we're actually, I want to do a little bit. I do some on the anvil. I just saw something weird over here. That motor on my rolling mill's dripping oil a little bit. Beautiful dog, thank you. Question is what I'm working on. I'm working on a ridiculously big axe. It's kind of based on the Stormbreaker from the Avengers. I would say it's a lot of fun, but it's just a lot of freaking work. I'm probably going to end up grinding most of it to keep it so as thick as it needs to be. And in the movies, the Stormbreaker axe head is not that big. we're gonna go to the press. I keep changing my mind on how I'm gonna do this. I think I've got the blade itself about where I want. I'm gonna do a lot of grinding, a lot of cutting on it. So I think I'm gonna leave it there, but I am gonna do a little bit of work on the hammer side. No, this is for an order. So this one's not going to be a bearded axe. It's based on Stormbreaker from Avengers. It's just going to be smaller because the original one in the movies would be so heavy you wouldn't be able to pick it up. Actually, yeah. So I've already got the combo dies on here. We're just going to clean up the hammer side a little bit. Now I'm still going to keep it square. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll see. This thing is unwieldy. Whatever. Okay. That thing's hard to move. It's so heavy and an odd shape, so the weight just moves weird. Hopefully it'll get easier. So I'm gonna go to the paddle side because that thing just looks like a big paddle, and try to get a little bit more control. See if I can get this to where I want, where I think I want it, I should say. And we got plenty of heat. We're sitting at 2100 degrees. I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit. We're not forge welding, so we don't need all that. Weld the handle onto it. You know, I could, but I think a really big wooden handle is going to be the way to go to really. That was my plan originally. Yeah, I don't think a metal handle is the way to go with this. I don't think it's going to give it the right look. Because the one in the movies has a wooden handle. Now I'm not going to be able to come close to trying to copy the one in the movies. This is my take on it. But I'm thinking a really long handle with an aggressive curve to it would look really cool. We'll see. I still got to find a piece of wood for that. I'm thinking of using like hickory. So I noticed the paddle, as I'm calling it, still has a little bit of a warp to it, so I'm going to take that out real quick. I don't think I'm going to try to open up that eyelet or anything. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm trying to think about time and how long it would take me to do that on my own. And I think I'm going to just wait till Monday when my son's here and use him. At least to hold it, if not swing the hammer. We'll see. Yeah, that should work out. The whole thing's warped, I see. That's why it was looking funny. Even the hammer is off, hammer side's off. I don't know if this is going to work, but try it. This does not want to move. All right, I know what to do. I know what I have to do. I just don't know if I have the strength. Yeah, we'll leave it there. That'll be okay, so what I'm going to do, straighten this out. I'm going to clamp it in the press, beat it with a hammer until I get it to where I want it. Now, it still wasn't too cold when I put it back in the forge. I mean, it was getting there towards the paddle. Keep in mind, I keep my shot very bright for my lives, so that color that translates through the camera is usually darker than it is in real life, at least in my experience. It's getting hot in here. All right, 68 people in here. Thank you for joining the live. I know this one's a little disjointed. I've just got a lot of little things that I have to do today. And because I'm so close to Christmas, I'm trying not to start any huge projects. Because knowing me, I'm going to think about it the whole time we're spending time with family and the kids are here and all that. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to get distracted the whole time. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you don't already follow me, hit that follow button. Also, do me a favor, hit that like button. And I want to give a quick plug about my Patreon. I'm starting what's going to be a 5-part series. It's going to be start to finish forging a Damascus sax. So I'm about done with episode 1. Hoping to post that tonight. That is going to be for Patreon members only for now. So if you're not a member and you're interested in that, go join up. It helps support me and I really appreciate it. If you don't want to sign up, there are some free videos that I've got. They're open to the public on my Patreon. I think you just look up Woodson Knife Co. at patreon.com. I think that's how it is. I gotta double check. There is a link on the main page of my website to my Patreon though, which is woodsonKnifeco.com. And like I said, I've got some free videos up there. I've got a 2-part video on how I do my full tang handle material, doing the pins and all that. And I do it in a way that no matter how many pins you put in, they're always going to line up, unless you do something really off. But anyways, on this Damascus sax series, the first part is just doing the Damascus, how I do my Damascus start to finish. Saxophone. Yeah. All right. Let me check this. Okay. That's up to 10. Looks like it's hot enough. Put you guys right over here. This will be interesting. Yeah, and all I gotta do is get the blade flattened down. I'm gonna throw it back in the heat for a second. That worked way better than I thought it was going to. The hammer end just came right in the line. It wasn't very far off, but it lined right up with the start of the blade. The blade's just got a camp to it that I should be able to take out on here. Actually, no, I think that was just an optical illusion that it looked really good. You guys heard that thing hit the floor. Told you, it's got some weight to it. It's hard to hold on to. You know, I haven't weighed it. In fact, I was thinking about that this whole time. Once it cools off, I need to weigh it. I think it's less than I've got in my head, because in my head I'm thinking 20 pounds, but I don't think it's even close to that. It just feels like that to me because it's unwieldy, and I don't have tongs that really hold it nice and tight. But yeah, I am a weigh it see, because I am very curious. And it can be hard to straighten things out like this. I mean, it's a couple inches thick of steel on one end, so even hot, glowing hot, it doesn't want to move very quickly. But we'll get it. How many people we got in here? So it's just got to heat up a little bit more, and then I'll start messing with the end of it, try to get everything lined up straight. Just takes longer to heat up. longer than I would have liked. It's going to be a pain. Sorry, I'm thinking. Bet you guys can smell it from there. Yes, it is a custom order. So I'm probably going to go back and use the press again. I'm going to put it in the hammer side and try to align that end first, I think. I see what I did. So when I was trying to line it up, I went the wrong direction on the paddle once. And so it's all offside. Then you've got the eyelet and then the hammer. So it kind of goes like that. So I just need to get the eyelet pushed over, essentially. It's not that easy, but that's the thought. So I'm going to put the hammer in, so it's on this side and everything else is here. I just got to figure out which side to do it on, so that way I'm pushing down towards the correct side, the correct direction. All right, so that's we're moving in the right direction. Oh, that's hilarious. I like it. All right, so I'm going to do kind of the same thing. I'm going to put in paddle first and try to work that paddle, because now I've got the hammer and the eyelet lined up and the paddle's kind of sitting down here and then curves. So I need to move it up and flatten it. I don't know if that made any sense, but in my mind, that's what I'm thinking. And tomorrow's going to be a grind day for me again. A lot of it's going to be more, finishing grinding. I have a set of kitchen knives that I have to get done before Christmas. So I just got to do the cleanup on these and then get handles on them, do the finish work. But that's going to be priority one tomorrow because they have to get finished. Oh yeah, we're going to be right here. I'll be damned, we are nice and lined up. I just gotta flatten out the paddle. I'm surprised somebody's freaking out that I'm calling it a paddle. Just flatten it out on the anvil. Have a little random side project I need to do. It's nothing interesting for you guys at all. I'm literally just going to crush down the end of a rod. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I already changed my mind. Okay. This is the fun part. It's like watching paint dry. Just sit around waiting for the steel to get hot. Right back. Show you guys the design I've got for the Damascus sacks for the Patreon videos. So 12-inch blade. It's not going to have really hard lines, so it's going to be a little more curved up here and in here. I'm going off of a historical blade just for the blade part because they didn't find the handle, so we have no idea what it looks like. I'm not 100% if I'm going to do what I showed in the handle right here. It was just kind of a rough sketch or an idea. So, but that's what I'm making in this Patreon series that I keep talking about. The Damascus is going to be 936 layers. Yeah, hand forged, all that. Alright, that's as good as she's going to get right there. Alright. So the next step with this, grinding it to the shape I want and opening up, that's going to be such a pain. That's going to be the next step. This is going to take the longest, but it is what it is. All right. How's it going? Okay, well, this thing, it's just ridiculous. Hopefully it looks good when it's done. All right, everybody. So today's a really short live. I just had some little things to work on. Like I said, I didn't want to get started on any big projects because I'm taking some time off for Christmas. Not like a whole week or anything, I don't think. But no, my wife is having her tonsils out here soon, so I'm gonna be taking care of her because she'll be down for a little bit. So yeah. Next Monday I'll be live. I may be live tomorrow doing some grinding. We'll see. But next Monday I'll be live. My oldest son, who is going to be home on leave from the Marine Corps and bringing his new wife with him, he's going to be out here forging with me. Not 100% sure what we're going to forge. We're just going to pick something fun. I know we will do some work on that axe because I need his help with that eyelet. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Hope you guys join me next week for that one. And yeah, all right, that's all I got, everybody. Hey, as always, be kind, much love, and have a great week.